Okay then, so welcome everybody to the International Tsunami Memorial Museum Exchange Workshop. So I'm very glad to see so many friendly faces and maybe many of you are also very excited. So today's program will focus on young people and their engagement in disaster education. And I'm very happy to welcome students from the Yumedan group of Kamaishi High School and from Banda Aceh Ichiman High School. So thank you very much for coming. And so I'm today's moderator, Julia Gerster. And this event has been supported by the Reconstruction and Disaster Mitigation Department of Iwate Prefecture, the International Research Institute of Disaster Science at Tohoku University, as well as the Aceh Museum and the Pacific Tsunami Museum in Hawaii. So yeah, thank you very much for coming. So I would like to start with an introduction of the students. And we will start with the students of the Yumedan of Kamaishi High School.
Hello, I'm Sarah Kanezaki. I'm 17 years old. Nice to meet you all.
Hello, I'm Ayasato. I'm 50 years old. Nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm Ichie Akashizawa. I'm 17 years old. Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next round of introduction is from the students of Man Negeri 1 Banda Aceh High School.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and hello to all students. My name is Anissa Nur Latifah. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a student in Man 1 Banda Aceh.
Hello everyone, my name is D. Sultan Azfar. I'm 17 years old.
Hello everyone, my name is Farid Altamub Zailin. I'm 16 years old.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Kausar Al-Fajri. I'm 17 years old.
Hello everyone, my name is Naira Tanzilanas. I am 17 years old.
Hello everyone, my name is Chunya Wirarahma. I am 17 years old.
Thank you so much for the round of self-introduction. And I think with this we can already continue to the main event of today, which is the presentations of the students. And the first ones to present are the students from the Yumedan. So please, I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Hello everyone. We are members of Yumedan to raise awareness of disaster risk reduction. I'm Sarah Kanezaki.
I'm Ayasato.
I'm Ichie Akashizawa.
From Kamaishi High School. It is nice to meet you all. Today, we would like to introduce 3 things. Introduction our group. A survey of Kamaishi High School students' awareness about disaster conducted as part of our activities. And an experience of Kamaishi version Crossroads game, which is to raise awareness of disaster prevention on a daily basis. We belong to the video section of Yumedan. First of all, please watch the video we made about the Great East Japan earthquake, including my experience. And the introduction of Yumedan.
Do you know what is significant about this date? An unprecedented catastrophe. This is the day the Great East Japan earthquake hit our shores. It occurred at 2:46 p.m. on March 11, 2011. The earthquake's epicenter was off the Sunrise coast. This triggered a massive tsunami. In Iwate Prefecture, the total number of human casualties was 6,252. A total of 26,079 houses were destroyed. The highest wave was around 78 feet. First of all, this is a sea near Yamada town. This house was submerged in the sea. Next, the state of Ochi town. It was destroyed by a propane gas explosion after the tsunami. Finally, Kamashi City. The tsunami also hit Kamashi City, where I live. Houses were destroyed by the tsunami and ships were riding on the breakwater. This is a parking lot and the first floor of the apartment complex where I lived. The ground was hidden by the swept away cars and piles of rubble everywhere you looked. The voices of men shouting on high ground, cars spinning around in the tsunami, holding hands with fire brigade to evacuate up the mountain, fish falling on the road on the way to evacuation route. I was 4 years old at the time and very young, but even now, at the age of 17, I still remember these memories and will never forget them. Other towns were severely damaged, but they are continuing to recover. This was not only through the support from Japan, but also through the support from overseas. Thanks to the warm and powerful support from people around the world, we are returning to our daily lives as they were before the Great East Japan earthquake. We will continue to cherish every day without forgetting our gratitude to the people around the world. Thank you for listening.
「夢だ未来へつなげるワンチーム」は岩手県にある釜石高校の生徒有志で結成されました。大震災の記憶がある最後の世代として防災・震災伝承活動やボランティア活動に取り組んでいます。世代交代を行いながら5年目を迎え、約50名の生徒がメンバーとして登録し、動画班、防災食班、ゲーム班、釜石版クロスロードゲーム班、語り部に分かれてさまざまな活動を行っています。私たち防災食班は防災食・非常食は美味しくないというイメージを覆し、普段から防災食に親しめるようなレシピ考案に取り組んでいます。その中でも実際に災害が起きた時に食べれるようなレシピ、普段から防災食に親しめるようなレシピの2つを考案しています。普段から防災食に親しめるようなレシピとして、パンの缶詰でラスクを作ったり、レトルトカレーを使って防災食を作ったりしました。これからもたくさんの防災食を作っていきたいと思います。
私たちゲーム班は子どもから大人まで楽しめるゲームを考えています。今までには防災すごろくや防災ビンゴ、坊主めくりを八王子市や横浜市の防災国体で体験してもらいました。これからは新しいゲームの考案や改善をし、イベントで行っていきたいです。
語り部活動では東日本大震災で起こったことや経験・教訓を語っています。私たちが語り部活動を行っている小野住まい復興スタジアムは2019年にラグビーのワールドカップが行われた会場で、もともと小学校と中学校が建っていたところでもあります。ワールドカップでは先輩たちが語り部を行い、 今も地元のラグビーチームのホームゲームに合わせて語り部活動を行っています。これからは各々の原稿をレベルアップしてより良い語り部活動を行っていきたいです。
釜石版クロスロードゲーム班は防災を自分事として捉えてもらうために実際に釜石市民が迫られた選択をクイズにしています。この活動を通して防災を自分事として捉え防災意識を高めてもらうことを目標にしています。今後も釜石版クロスロードゲームを充実させ実践していきます。
Next, we would like to share with you the result of a disaster awareness survey of Kamaishi High School students. We would like to introduce 3 selected questions. Of the Kamaishi High School students, 260 responses were collected. We expected that there might be a difference in disaster awareness depending on the area where they live, so we have divided the total into 2 groups. Students who are living in coastal areas and those who are living in areas. 1. Do you know the evacuation site near your house?
Those who answered yes to this question were coastal, about 97%, inland, about 90%. Those who answered no to this question were coastal, about 3%, inland, about 10%.
Most people, regardless of where they live, seem to have a good grasp of evacuation site in their area.
2. Have you ever discussed evacuation sites with your family?
Those who answered yes to this question were coastal about 86%, inland about 68%. Those who answered no to this question were coastal about 14%, inland about 32%.
We can see the difference between coastal and inland areas arose. We found that students living in coastal areas were more likely than those living inland to share information with their families and to discuss evacuation sites. The safety of family members is one of the most important concerns in the event of a disaster. To alleviate this anxiety, we think it is important to discuss this with family members in advance.
3. Answer correctly the data of the Great East Japan earthquake. Of the total, about 89%, 232 students were able to answer correctly, and about 11%, 28 students answered incorrectly.
We were surprised that the percentage of correct answers was not 100%. This result shows that even though only 12 years has passed since the Great East Japan earthquake, the memory of the disaster has already begun to fade. If this situation continues, there will be another major loss of life in a possible future disaster.
Then, as we explained earlier, we would like to invite everyone to actually experience the Crossroad game, one of our activities to raise awareness of disaster prevention on a daily basis. This is a training game to practice quick response and situational judgment by making from multiple options based on various disaster situations. Let's quickly move on to the question. You live near the sea. When you are at home, suddenly, a huge earthquake struck, and you decided to evacuate to an evacuation center at the top of a hill near your home. However, you remembered that the old man who lives in a wheelchair living next door. So you went to help him. There was no one else around, and when you tried to help him alone, 15 minutes had already passed since the earthquake. Now, what would you do? A. You evacuate alone. B. You keep thinking of other ideas to help old man's life. Please choose A or B with no discussion at first. You have 30 seconds. Now it is time. Please raise your hand if you choose A. Please raise your hand if you choose V.
Thank you, everyone. We would like to ask some of you the reason of your choice. Please raise your hands if you can share your opinion.
Alright, my answer is A, because the A, I will evacuate alone, because I think when disaster happen, we must save ourselves first before we help other people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think it is important, really important thing. Thank you. How about people choose B? Someone, anyone, someone. B.
Okay. This is quite a difficult situation for real. There was no one else around, and when you tried to help in alone, 15 minutes had already passed since the earthquake. And I would think that would be a difficult situation, and that would also would also test our empathy towards the old man. So, based on my empathy myself, I would help the old man on the wheelchair and run while pushing him. Okay. That is my answer.
なんていうんですか、なんていうの、優しさに溢れてますねみたいな、なんていうんですか。
So she's she's very impressed that you're so so nice and empathetic, and that's it's very impressive. You're overflowing with niceness, kindness, kindness. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. It is difficult to choose only one of them, isn't it? We are sure that each of you has made your own choice. However, there is no fixed answer in this crossroads game. In fact, in times of disaster, you never know what the right answer is. In order to make the best decision in such a situation, there are 4 keywords that we would like you all to keep in mind on a daily basis.
There are prepare, evacuate, do not return, pass on the recent. Disasters do not choose the time and the place. When disaster strikes, never return. Disasters will surely occur in the future. At such times, disaster awareness is necessary to protect your life and the lives of others. That's why we, as high school students, should raise our awareness of disaster prevention. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. I think everybody already has many questions and comments, but first I would like the students from Mannegiri 1 Banda Aceh High School to present, and then after that maybe you can exchange your thoughts. So thank you very much to the Kamaishi High School students, and now we go on with the Indonesian presentation. Okay, so we seem to be okay here. So yes, we are looking forward to your presentation. So now is the presentation from the students from Banda Aceh.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I will start the presentation now. The youth plays an important role in shaping our society. Our words and ideas can influence our friends, adults, and even policy decision. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and hello to all students. It is an honor to attend this wonderful event and to finally set foot in Japan for the first time ever. We are here today as the delegation of Indonesia to present our work to pass on the memory of past tsunamis that had happened in Aceh to each and everyone on today's International Tsunami Museum Symposium. Next slide, please. Let me start by saying a few words about our background. We are students at MAN 1 Banda Aceh, Aceh, Indonesia. MAN stands for Madrasah Aliyah Negeri, or translated as Islamic Senior High School. My name is Anissa Nur Latifah.
My name is Di Sultan Azfar.
My name is Farid Altaf Muzailin.
My name is Muhammad Kausar Al-Fajri.
My name is Naira Tanzilanaz.
My name is Jutnya Wirur Rahma.
And we are the delegation of Indonesia. On 2022, we acted as Indonesia's representative for High School Student Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day in Niigata, Japan, that was held online. Since then, we are chosen to be part of Youth Disaster Awareness Forum in Aceh. Moving on to the next slide, please. Before we go further with our project, I will walk you through the 2004 Aceh tsunami, which is one of the deadliest natural disasters in the 21st century. It happened exactly on December 26, 2004. A 9.3 magnitude earthquake triggered a massive tsunami that wiped away our city, Banda Aceh. Approximately, there were 230,000 people died that day. Over there, you can see some of the names of affected countries like Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, and so on. Moving on to the next slide. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2004 Aceh tsunami have left an unforgettable memory for Acehnese people. From that moment on, the story of the tsunamis have always been passed along through generation. As you can see, these are some private documentation taken by my fathers 2 days right after the tsunami. Unfortunately, we lost many relatives, especially for my father's side, like my grandma, uncles, aunts, and even my cousins. My father's childhood house turned into complete ashes, as well as the house on the right is my mother's, which is in the Pojok Baren Street near our school. There were lots of trash and dead bodies. However, thankfully, the buildings were still attached and so did our school. That is why the story of the tsunami has always been told in my family, and I believe in all Acehnese families.
Next slide, please. The 2004 Aceh tsunami incident has left a deep scar in Aceh's history. Therefore, Aceh tsunami is always commemorated on December 26, the exact day the tsunami occurred. On that day, the government also held mass prayer together and remembrance for the victim of the tsunami. Next slide. Aceh local wisdom Smong. Smong come from the Devayan language of Simelu that refer to the complex of earthquake, sea receding, or giant wave. It shares in the traditional song of Simelu, the Nandong. Smong is also a poem that has been passed down from ancestor. It continues from generation to generation without ever breaking. Besides, it's also told to younger generation, including children, on various occasions. Next slide. Being able to continue to take part in this disaster activity is very insightful and raises awareness. Therefore, we have a goal that contains a deep meaning, namely telling past events to future generation so that they are better prepared and believe it can come at any time, with the hope that the mistakes have happened in the past will not happen again in the future. Next slide. After participating World Tsunami Awareness Day 2022 online, we have taken several steps to raise public and school student awareness of the importance of disaster knowledge more broadly and continue to be responsive to disaster issues that occur. The 4 efforts we have made are as follows. First, earthquake and tsunami evacuation simulation disaster safe school. Second, workshop and focus group discussion. Third, annual commemoration of World Tsunami Awareness Day, and the last, identification on updated information of tsunami.
Next slide, please. Our first project is conducting an evacuation simulation for Disaster Safe School program. Next slide. Our school hold a disaster safe school and evacuation simulation at the school Thursday, 21st September 2023. The main aim of this simulation is to provide understanding and knowledge as well as increase awareness for disaster risk reduction to school society, starting from the school principal, the teacher council, homeroom teacher, and also all students from our school. Next slide, please. These are some pictures during our activity in evacuation simulation. The simulation trains students to evacuate themselves and to remain conducive when an earthquake occurs, and also teach students how to evacuate themselves if there are signs of a tsunami, such as evacuating to high ground and avoiding coastal areas when the tide is low. Next slide, please. Why the simulation is important? In 2004, Achinese people did not know how to evacuate themselves from the tsunami, including my family. So they thought that staying at home would be an effective solution. Instead, Achinese people become victims of the tsunami in 2004. Besides it, my family also never imagined that the earthquake would cause such a powerful tsunami. Moreover, most people do not have extensive knowledge of disaster. Therefore, when the disaster occurred, my family was very panicked and did not know what to do to evacuate themselves. Therefore, this simulation is an effort to prevent casualties if a disaster like this happens again, and it can also be a major lesson for community to face real disaster that can occur in the next few years. Next slide. These are some pictures of tsunami monument in my father's village. The monument is written with the names of my family members, such as grandfather, grandmother, 4 uncles and aunts, and also local residents who were victims of the tsunami at that time, which is located in Lamanyang village, Banda Aceh, Aceh, Indonesia. The monument was built to encourage people to always be vigilant and always increase our belief that disaster like this could happen again in the next few years.
Next slide, please. Workshop and forum discussion group. Southeast Asia is a region prone to disaster, causing significant losses of life and money. To address this, experts are looking at how digital technology can help. Next slide, please. This workshop and FDG is one of a series of technology-based community knowledge, achieving disaster resilience in urbanized areas project run in collaboration between Tsunami and Disaster Mitigation Research Center of Shah Kuala University and the University of Huddersfield, United Kingdom, and Teesside University, United Kingdom, supported by the Royal Academy of Engineering, United Kingdom. Next slide, please. Our goals for this event are simple. It was to show how important is community knowledge in today's digital world. It was to come up with fresh ideas for using technology to prevent disasters, and to create a space for discussion among the public, media, government, and the student about today's digital world.
Next slide, please. Annual commemoration on World Tsunami Awareness Day. Next slide. One of our key action plans is a social media campaign to spread awareness about tsunamis, especially among young people who have never experienced a major tsunami like the 2004 Aceh tsunami. The goal of this campaign is to reduce tsunami risk and enhance community preparedness. Next slide. To commemorate World Tsunami Awareness Day, last year, our school organized a prayer session for the victims of the 2004 Aceh tsunami. Then, as representatives of the previous year's High School Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day in Niigata 2022 conference, we shared our lessons learned and tips for disaster preparedness. As for this year's World Tsunami Awareness Day, we held a field study to tsunami-related places and did a simple survey. Further information of our activity will be explained on the next project. Next slide, please. This is our commemoration post for World Tsunami Awareness Day on November 5th, posted on our school Instagram. We urge everyone to stay alert from the danger of tsunamis and continue to remember the history of tsunami that have hit Aceh before. Next slide. Our next project is identification on updated information of tsunami. Next slide. First, beach cleanup. Beach cleanup is a volunteer activity that takes place on a regular basis along coastlines around the world. We also take part in this activity to continue this action among young people and the next generation, as a form of waste management education, especially so that business people, tourists, and volunteers actively participate in maintaining the cleanliness of the area. This activity is part of our program to increase disaster awareness, especially for coastal communities. Next slide.
Youth Tsunami Ambassador going to the Aceh Tsunami Museum. One of the best such of this historical event is the Aceh Tsunami Museum. It is located in Banda Aceh, Aceh, Indonesia. We visit the museum annually. It has a lot of events regarding disaster for students starting from kindergarteners to high schoolers. Next slide, please. Youth Tsunami Ambassador field study to evacuation building along with interview locals. We did a simple survey on evacuation building and got the chance to directly talk about the 2004 Aceh tsunami from one of the survivors who lives there. We have learned a lot of update information for different such. Okay, to summarize this presentation, our activities aim to preserve the stories of the Acehnese people past, so that our generation, is aware of the disaster that have struck where they live and know how to overcome them by continuously reminding the younger. Next slide. No. Okay, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention.
Actually, for today's event, we've also prepared a special documentation of our activities as Youth Tsunami Ambassador 2023. So maybe let's take a moment to watch it all together.
kisah saboh riwayat, kisah barodat di Aceh Raya, lam karu Aceh di ngon barat di saboh tempat nuno calitra nasi doane di mosi ada lam jut saat tuangan poma ditanyong ba'ama ayah jinopat dilon rindu tat kena rupa.
Nama saya Rama. Saya lahirnya di Kampung Pi belakang ya, berbatasan dengan Kampung Pi dan Ule itu berbatasan. Umur saya sekarang itu 29 tahun. Saya kebetulan lagi di rumah. Pagi itu di rumah seperti biasa, itu saya masih kelas berapa? Kelas 3 SMA, kelas 2 SMA gitulah kalau saya ingat. Jadi pagi itu gempa itu di kami itu tidak pernah merasakan gempa yang sekuat itu, sekencang itu. Jadi memang panik, pada saat itu memang panik, apa yang terjadi itu memang panik. Nah, saya dari mulai gempa itu gempa kuat, ada beberapa menit kalau nggak salah saya, dan air lautnya surut. Jadi banyak orang tuh yang lari ke pantai untuk melihat kejadian fenomena air laut surut.
Oh, jadi banyak tuh ya yang
Jauh,
belum tahu langsung ke laut.
Jauh tuh ya. Jadi waktu air itu datang, memang seperti apa gitu ya, hitam gitu kan, seperti gelombang memang besar gitu, hitam gitu. Nggak bisa, memang rasa takut itu yang bikin nggak bisa lari.
Oh, iya.
Jadi dengan panik, nggak tahu apa mau dibuat, baru seumur hidup baru melihat itu kejadian. Sampai kami terbawa air, saya tuh dibawa ke daerah Surin.
Oh, berarti abang juga ikut terbawa arus?
Bawa ke daerah Surin, ditarik lagi ke tengah laut. Itu ada beberapa kali saya nggak ingat sih, yang saya ingat tuh saya tuh udah kecapean di atas rumah itu sekitar pukul 11.
11.
Di antara jam 9 dan 8 dari mulai gempa sampai jam 11 itu saya nggak tahu dia apain tuh. Ditarik. Jadi ke depan yang kita harapkan itu generasi ke depan itu harus lebih mengerti tentang bagaimana mengatasi tsunami, karena tsunami itu nggak mesti dari gempa laut.
So that was our video. In conclusion, do not let a traumatic disaster haunt our people and future generation. Instead, let it be an important lesson for the future from the past. And one of the most powerful ways is to preserve memories and evidence for the society. By passing along stories and memories, hopefully they can anticipate upcoming disaster with better understanding. I would like to thank all of you for listening and hope you will gain an insight regarding this matter.
ありがとうございました。
Yeah, thank you so much for two fantastic presentations, both to the Yumedan Kamaishi High School students as well as the students from Banda Aceh. So yeah, thank you so much for these presentations. So now I would like to give you some time to ask each other questions. So maybe there's something that you found especially impressive, or maybe you have some questions or some comments, or maybe there are other things you would like to know. So who would like to go first?
Okay, I will start. First of all, seeing all of the videos and presentation about Yumedan's activity was so fun and cheerful. And I think all of us would love to try the Crossroads games. Yeah. And my question is, are there any interesting experience when you prepared this presentation and video? Thank you.
Yeah, the most surprising thing was only 12 years have passed since the Great Ichiban earthquake, but the memory of young people's of the disaster has already began to fade. It was really surprised, and we are really shocked about that. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Maybe you also have a question for the Indonesian students.
実際に津波を経験した人のインタビューをしているのを見て、インタビューしてから自分たちの考え方が変わったりしたことってありますか？
It did change my perspective, and I also learned something new. Like, I used to think that why did people don't just run away when tsunami occur? So the thing is, when you see a huge wave going towards you in an incredible speed, your body will be stunned and shocked because of fear. And what surprises me is that if only people already got the basic knowledge of this, people won't get shocked. And there could have been so many lives saved on that day.
So how is it in Japan? Have you maybe heard about something similar, about people not evacuating?
実際に釜石高校生のアンケートを取ってみて、アンケートを取る前は内陸部に住んでいる生徒と沿岸部に住んでいる生徒とはだいぶの意識の差があるっていうふうに想像してたんですけど、なんていうの、実際にアンケートを取ってみたら同じくらいどちらの生徒も防災意識はしっかり持っていて、みんな他人事じゃなくて自分事として災害を捉えているっていうことに驚きました。
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other questions maybe? Yes?
The question is, what do you think should be done to get more young people interested in disaster education? Thank you very much.
先生、日本語で失礼します。実際私は震災経験して、東日本大震災経験して怖さは知ってたはずだけど、いざこうやって夢団として活動してこうやってビデオを作ってたら余計にもっと怖いっていうか、今まで思ってた以上にもっとちゃんと自分はしっかりしなきゃないんだみたいな意識できたので、他の若い人たちも こう話を聞くだけじゃなくて実際にこう今日のようにいろいろ回ったりとかする機会をいただけたらもっとなんか身をもって怖さを知れるっていうかこう肌で感じていけると思ってます。
So, how about the students from Banda Aceh? So, what did you feel today when walking through the memorial park and seeing the museum, maybe?
Starting from walking through the Memorial Museum Park, it was very new to us. The way how you all preserve the memories of the tsunami, and how complete the information to guide us. Apart from us who have very little information of tsunamis and the disasters of the 2004 and information of the disaster of the 2004 Aceh tsunami is also a bit difficult. We only know the 2004 Aceh tsunami from the stories of our parents. But right after we entered the memorial park, we gained many new information of tsunamis and experience. It felt like we experienced a tsunami ourselves, especially when we entered the theater. And it was a very memorable memory for us.
Thank you. Does somebody else also want to comment on this, maybe?
Okay, for me, I think the memorial park, yes, right? I think it's very pretty, first of all, and I'm glad to see like different types of like tsunami sites apart in Banda Aceh, our Aceh Tsunami Museum, and it's very pretty. The tour guide is very great at the explanations and seeing different types of like pieces that left because of the tsunami is also very memorable. And I think it's a very nice to see like different perspective of tsunami through the museum and memorial hall, and it's like really fun. I think for us it's a very new experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this. So how about the Japanese students? So how was it for you today to talk to students from Indonesia and maybe learn a little bit about like different experiences? For example, today you went to the park together, and I think for you it was also the first time to visit the park. So how was that for you to share this experience?
この一緒に午前中交流ができて、この発表プレゼンテーションの以外にもアチェのその津波についてたくさん詳しく知ることができて、自分の津波に対する知識とかあと考え方も変わったっていうか、もっと自分から災害について調べてもっと知識を蓄えなきゃなっていうふうに考えを改め直すことができたのですごい良かったです。今日はありがとうございました。
Okay, thank you. ありがとうございます。And so now we have like two groups here today with like of course still very young people. So for the students from Aceh, the Pacific tsunami, the Indian Pacific tsunami is almost 20 years ago next year. So that was even before you were born. So how is it for you to engage yourself in disaster education without having experienced the tsunami yourself, but maybe you heard from your parents? So maybe you could talk a little bit about why you decided to do these activities And then after that, the same for the Japanese students. So you were also still very young when the Great East Japan earthquake happened. So maybe you could after that also explain a little bit about why you decided to do these disaster education activities. So maybe we can start with Banda Aceh.
Okay, I think I will answer the question. In terms of the tsunami anniversary in Aceh itself, it is a public holiday for us. And until now, after 18 years have passed, and I think 26th December this year will be the 19th, the people of Aceh commemorate the tsunami disaster every year by holding a joint prayers at various points. Of course, it is not only an anniversary activity, but it can be a learning medium, a reminder for the wider community about the importance of disaster education, especially us, the younger generations, because we will be entering the future, so like that. Thank you.
と自分もこの津波を体験したものとしてその時は私は3歳だったんですけど、3歳でほとんど何も記憶が残ってない状態で、だけど大きくなってから家族からその時のことを教えてもらって、でその話を自分の中だけに留めておくのではなくて、これからの後世の人たちにも少しでも役立つことができるなら活動した方がいいなと思って、この夢団というグループに所属しています。
Okay, so maybe there's time for one more questions from, like, if you have a question for the other group, and then we will have a short break before we turn to the comments from the Tsunami Museum directors. So is there any other question that you would like to ask?
So my question is, why did you decide to join Yumedan at the first place?
私が入ったきっかけはやっぱりさっきビデオでもあった通りなんですけど、震災経験して普段の幼稚園、そのところ幼稚園で普段の生活は覚えてないんですけど、その日の津波の記憶だけはすごいもう覚えてて忘れられないし、今でもすごい思い出して嫌になることもあるんですけど、だからせっかくここちゃんと記憶を持ってる人がそんなに多くはないと思うので、活かせるところがあるんだったらやった方がいいんじゃないかなっていう、あゆさんと同じ感じの理由で決めました。
私は佐田さん、あゆさんとまた同じような感じなんですけど、生まれ育ったのが内陸部なので、その震災当時の記憶っていうのが津波の記憶はなくて、逆に地震とか2人とはまた別の記憶になるんですけど、そういう記憶がまだ残っているからこそ、やっぱりこういう震災での大きな被害っていうのをもう自分たちが大人になった時に繰り返したくないという思いもあったので、何か自分たちでできることがあればいいなと思って入りました。
ありがとうございます。So about the order of the comments, I would first ask the representatives of the tsunami museums, and then after that representatives of the boards of education from Indonesia and Japan would say something, then the representatives of the school, and in the end I would ask representatives from Tohoku University for their comments. Yes, so first I would like to ask the representative of the Iwate Tsunami Memorial Museum, Mr. Sawada Akihiro, for his comment.
はい、東日本大震災津波伝承館岩手津波メモリアル副館長の澤田と申します。私去年は岩手県庁の復興推進課によりましてこちらのこういう交流イベントを主催する立場から出席をさせていただきまして、今日はこちら、コメントをする立場ということで、2年続けて参加をさせていただきました。あと今日はですねこういった釜石高校、あとインドネシアの、高校生の皆さんに直接現地に来ていただいて、こういった活発な議論を聞かせていただきました。非常にありがとうございます。また午前中はこの伝承館の方にも足を運んでいただいて、館内を見学していただきまして、ありがとうございます。こちらの伝承館は東日本大震災津波の事実と教訓の伝承、あとこれまでに、国内外から多くいただいたご支援の感謝の気持ち、これを発信するために運営をしている施設でございます。これは岩手県にとって非常に大きな取り組みというふうに考えておりまして、こちらの伝承館については館長が達増知事が自ら館長を務めているという、他の宮城とか福島にはない体制をとっている施設でございます。そういった中で、日々国内外の方々にそうした我々の思いを伝えているわけですけれども、特に時代を担う若い方々にそうした震災の事実教訓をいかに伝えて、いかに自分事として捉えていただくかということが大きな課題だと考えております。そうした中で、共に被災をされた両地域の高校生の方が、こちらに、集まって交流をしていただいたということは、お互いにとっても非常に大きな貴重な経験になったのではないかというふうに考えております。午前中館内をご案内した際にですね、当館ゾーン1からゾーン3まであるんですけども、特にそのゾーン3、教訓を学ぶ、そこのゾーン3の一番最後のところですね、津波点電庫とかいろんな説明があったんですけども、そこのところが非常に一番重要なゾーンというふうに我々考えております。震災のについての教訓を踏まえて、日頃からのですね備えの大切さ、あとはその家族とか地域との話し合いの大切さ、そういったことを今日も訴えさせていただきました。今日の釜石高校の皆さん、アチェの高校生の皆さんは日頃からそういった取り組みを実践されているということが先ほどの発表からもよく分かりました。非常に素晴らしいと思いました。双方とも来年、こちらの東日本大震災津波からは13年、そしてアチェにおかれましては20年迎えるという中で、こういった過去の悲惨な体験を過去のものとせずですね、自分事として次の災害に備えていこうという取り組みは非常に素晴らしかったなと思いました。あと個別の細かいところで申しますと、例えば釜石高校さんの取り組みで防災食のご説明ございましたけども、今日のお話聞いてあちの高校生の方々も見て、例えばアチェの方々はイスラムの方々ですので、多分食べるもの食べれないものっていうようなところがあるのかなと。なかなか非常事態でそういったところまで、目が行き届くのかどうかというところ、難しいところはあるとは思うんですけども、やはり例えば今大災害が起きたときにですね、もしここにいるメンバーで避難しなければならないというときに、こういう方々にも配慮した防災食とかですね、どうしたらいいのか、そういったところもですね、今後やはり考えていく必要があるのかなと。釜石については今度専門学校ですね、外国人の方々が学ぶ専門学校もできるというふうに聞いてますので、そういったところの取り組みもぜひ今後考えていただければありがたいなと思いました。あとアチェの子どもたち方々におかれましては、11月5日の世界津波の日に取り組みをされているということで、そういった取り組み、我々も先週避難訓練を行いましたので、これからも共にですね取り組んでいきたいなと思いました。非常に貴重なお話を聞かせていただきました。ありがとうございました。
Okay, so that was the comment on behalf of the Iwate Tsunami Memorial Museum. Maybe we can now turn to the Ache Tsunami Memorial Museum. I think somebody is joining us online. Pakputra is joining us online.
Yes.
Great. Would you like to share your comment?
Okay. Thank you for time you have been given. I think students from Kamesi High School and students from High School Banda Aceh give incredibly useful presentation. One goal with various perspective and enriched understanding of disaster with different characteristics. The experience of the tsunami survivor in Aceh should be studied to enhance preparedness and disaster mitigation in regions vulnerable to similar threats in the future, such as in Aceh, Japan, and other tsunami areas. Learning from their experience can serve as a foundation for more effective planning, the development of improved evacuation plans, and the establishment of a more responsive early warning system. Furthermore, analyzing the response and post-disaster recovery effort can provide valuable insight to refine policy and practice that contribute to enhancing community resilience to natural disaster. With the success of this activity, it's hoped that enhances with areas to carry out similar events regularly, creating a positive impact not only for students but also for society as well. Commitment to help and support show a strong spirit of cooperation in carrying out this useful activity. And we are ready to support for the success. Thank you very much. I hope that we can achieve our success together.
So maybe then we can go on with a comment from the director of the Pacific Tsunami Museum in Hawaii.
Can you see me?
Yes, hello.
Yay, yay, hello. Aloha, everybody, and mahalo nui loa from Hawaii. I was a senior duty scientist for NOAA in the tsunami warning system because of Aceh. So my heart to Aceh. Thank you. And I was on duty for 2011. So my heart to 2011. I'm so impressed. I'm so humbled and inspired by these amazing, amazing, beautiful hearts and energy. Thank you. Thank you so much. I find it fascinating that you speak about generations. You know, that you are one generation, you're 2 generation removed. Hawaii's last devastating tsunami was 60 years ago. I mean, we're talking 10, 20, 30 versus 60 years ago, but we still have grandparents that are survivors. But they're getting old. And so I'm going to just take everything you guys have presented today and use it aspirationally, inspirationally to our local schools here in Hilo. But also we'll be getting it out internationally as well. So my gratitude is immense. Thank you. I'm honored and humbled.
Thank you so much for your comment. Okay, so these were the comments from the representatives of the Tsunami Memorial Museums. So now we have some representatives from the boards of education here as well. And here I would like to start with the members who joined from Banda Aceh.
Terima kasih. Kami sangat senang sekali dan terharu, bahagia dengan pertemuan siswa-siswi dari 2 negara, Aceh, Indonesia, dan Jepang pada kesempatan yang berbahagia ini. Apa yang dipaparkan banyak hal, kami melihat ada kesamaan antara Aceh dengan di sini, dan kami belajar banyak dari apa yang dipresentasikan di museum dan juga apa yang disampaikan oleh guide di lapangan. Kemudian hari ini anak-anak kami di sini ada Ayu, ada Ici dan Sarah, dan juga anak-anak kami yang dari Aceh telah menyampaikan paparan-paparan dari kedua belah pihak. Tentu kerjasama ini perlu dilanjutkan. Kami mensupport ke depan bisa lebih baik lagi, dan terima kasih banyak kepada Profesor Sibaya, Mr. Yunizawa, dan Mr. Takada dari Direktur Museum Iwate Tsunami, dan juga Kepala SMA yang ada di sini. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you. Arigato. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, let me translate in English, and then I think Julia will translate in Japanese. Okay, it's okay. So from Pak Abrar, he is the member of, actually the head of Board of Education of Banda Aceh, but not just moving to another city, Aceh Barat, but still part of member of education of Aceh province. In Aceh, there are two kind of system of education. One like this is, we call it Islamic school, and then national public school. Mr. Abrar mentioned that, of course, today we are very happy to see this presentation from the two countries, Japan and Indonesia, and also what already been presented here is very similar of what happened here and what happened in Aceh. And also both of these we learn a lot, both in the room this time and also outside when the tour guide explained to us about what happened in this area and how Japanese government doing very much effort for disaster risk reduction. And here our student from the two school has been presenting very beautiful experience and presentation. So this kind of activity should be continued in the near future, and also maybe to be better in the future. I think that is, thank you very much to the organizer, Professor Sibayama, and also from the Iwate Memorial Museum, Mr. Yonezawa, and also the director of the museum. I think that is the comment from Mr. Abrar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. My name is Aidarina Elisifa. I am one of the member of board educations. If we see the presentation of two school, senior high school, Japan and Banda Aceh, well, I'm so impressed and very proud of them, how they present and talking about tsunami happen in their city. Even though our student last night, they're still practicing, okay, because I know, we all know, right, this is the first time our student come here. This is the best experience. They can come here. It's like dreams come true. Yeah. Therefore, we want to say thank you very much for everybody, organization to help and conduct. Also, Mr. Muzailin. Okay. The presentation from the Japanese students is very unique and creative. How they give the game. So I think this game for the student from Aceh can deliver to their friends. Okay, and then the presentation from student in Aceh is also very unique. If you remember, there are one of the songs in the video. It's a very famous songs. The song's name is Anak Yatim, or we can say orphan, right? Child's orphans. These songs is mean tell about the story regarding a son asking the mother, where is the father now? Okay, and then if he die, where is the funeral? So, but the mother cannot tell about really what happened. So this is when tsunami happened. So the song is very famous regarding this. Okay, I think I also like Mr. Albar say this is these relations perhaps can be continued not only in madrasah but also for the others. Other schools, and also I want to say thank you for Miss Nursia and Nadia. Mrs. Nursia is also one of the principal school who was tell regarding the story on the park who helped the children to evacuate. So Mr. Nursia is also very concentrate regarding the tsunami happen again. I think that's for us. Thank you.
Okay, then we have a comment from Japan as well.
Iwate 岩手県教育委員会の多田と申します。インドネシアバンダアチェ第一高校の皆さん、釜石高校夢団の皆さん、発表、その後に続く意見交流、本当に積極的にやっていただきましてどうもありがとうございます。インドネシアの、津波の映像途中で出てきたんですけれども、正直私も心が痛みました。12年前の東日本大震災の時をやっぱりフラッシュバックみたいな形で思い起こさせるような映像というふうなのもあったんですけれども、やはりああいうふうな記憶っていうふうなのはこれからも伝えていかなければならないなと、強く感じたところです。そういった意味で本日の両国の、皆さんの活動というふうなのは非常に心強いなと、若い人たちが次の世代に伝える活動というふうなのは非常に心強いなと思って見させていただきました。岩手県では郷土を愛しその復興発展を支える人材を育成するために岩手の復興教育というふうなのを小学校、中学校、高校とずっとすべての学校で行っているところです。釜石高校の発表にもあったように内陸と沿岸であまり差がなかったっていうふうなのはそういった復興教育が行われているからなのかなというふうな感想も持ったところです。インドネシアの皆さんに紹介いたしますけれども、岩手県のホームページには岩手の復興教育プログラムの英語版とあと絵本の英語版が載ってあります。ぜひ後で見ていただければと思います。そういったのを通じて両国がこれからも交流が深まっていければいいかなというふうに思います。本日はこういった機会準備していただきまして、東北大学の柴山先生はじめ、どうもありがとうございました。これからもまたよろしくお願いをいたします。
Okay, so next would be comments from representatives of the Mandegiri 1 Banda Aceh High School.
Thank you. I'm Nursia, principal of Man 1 Banda Aceh. I'm so thankful to take a part in this event as a school principal, I learned a lot of things here, and I will use it to my school. Thank you so much for giving my student opportunity to study and learn how to increase their awareness in research. I hope these activities not stop until here. Maybe we continue next year, and next year. I get many experience here, especially clean country, discipline. Yeah, I always say to my students in our school, you must do such as Japan's people. If you want to be success, you must discipline such as Japanese people and do clean such as them. So clean and discipline, you make your body health. Yeah. I think thank you for this all. Thank you, Mr. Prof. And I'm waiting for you in my country, especially in Banda Aceh. I'm waiting for you with red carpet. Yeah. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, I think there was another comment.
Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Nadia Balkis. I'm an English teacher in Man 1 Banda Aceh. And I want to say some things about why it is important for students and also the young generation to involve in such of these activities. I'm so glad to be here, and it's my pleasure to speak in this forum. And for me, I think it's important for students and also for young generations to involve in such of these activities, because we never know when is the disaster came again in the future. Because no one's want to, I think no one's want this earthquake or tsunami happen in our country, but natural cycles make this disaster maybe come again in the future. So I think they have to know how to pass down the story from generation to generation. And also I'm so thankful because my students learn a lot and learn much and gain a lot of knowledge here. And I hope in the future they can pass this story to others, and yeah, they can save more life in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we are coming to the last round of comments from Tohoku University. And first I would like to ask Professor Liz Marley for her comment.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to be very brief. So first of all, my name is Liz. I'm from Tohoku University, and we often talk about the difficulty of passing on the lessons after people don't remember what happened. But I feel so impressed and encouraged and motivated by the students' presentations today. So I think even the generation that wasn't born yet or doesn't have a strong memory of the disaster, I'm inspired by you. I'm not so much worried about that issue anymore. So thank you and great job. And maybe to the students, I would just say, I hope you can continue your work and also enjoy it. I am so happy to hear the Aceh students say they enjoyed visiting the park, and I'm very sure that the Yumedan students are also enjoying their activities. So I think sometimes we can be too serious or take on too much responsibility, but I encourage you to keep doing these activities as part of daily life, as part of having fun, you can prepare snacks that could be emergency food. So that in a kind of part of life. And then it's very clear that the students are already exchanging and learning from other places and sharing information. And I think you also had a really rich experience sharing with each other. So I'm so happy to see that. And then I want to also compliment the teachers and the organizers and everybody who put in a lot of effort behind the scenes. And I'm sorry that I couldn't join you in person today because of my scheduling conflict yesterday, but I'm very happy to be here online. And like many people already mentioned, I also hope that these important relationships can continue going forward. So yeah, thank you very much and congratulations. And thank you again to the support from Iwate Prefecture and also our colleagues and friends from Aceh and from Hawaii and great facilitator, Yulia. So thank you so much.
And the last comment for today is from Professor Boré, who also joined the activities during the past few days. And yeah, so maybe you want to let us know how your impressions are.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank the students for working so hard. I think I was very impressed to hear that some of you work up until this morning to repeat your presentation. And just to reassure you, it shows. You really all did a great job, and it was very clear. It was very entertaining and very informative. And I think that's what also we learned today. We don't need to have experience of disasters to learn and to teach something. And I think that's something that I share, especially with your Nadia. You mentioned a couple of things which I think came out of your presentation. You mentioned that you were in Yotien when the disaster happened, and you had some kind of fear or like fun from this experience, and you wouldn't talk about it. But through this experience of making this presentation, it became actually for you a process of learning and talking about and discovering about the disaster. And the same way, some of you mentioned the assumption, like the idea that you had an assumption about the disaster, that if it starts shaking and there's a tsunami come, of course you leave, of course you run away. And actually during these activities today, we learn it's not the case, is it? We have to learn ourselves from, and we have to repeat, we have to rehearse, we have to do some drills and repetition to be able to get all this information in our body to be able to move. And today we had heard a beautiful story about the Kamaishi Chugakko, where thanks to the principal, the students were able to, even though they had no experience, by listening to the elderly people, they were able to evacuate in 10 minutes, just at the time when the earthquake happened. And with the guide, we actually learned that for us adults, often it's not possible. And so how do you move in a time of a big earthquake? So that's kind of like, so another thing that I've really was impressed is the sense of like responsibility. I mean, my colleague like Liz Malley mentioned it was a big kind of second like bigger responsibility for you to do all that, but you did it wonderfully well, and I hope that you'll be able to enjoy, learn from it, and even though it's kind of like difficult, like it's a sad kind of thing, but actually you can make it happen and that was your conclusion, I think, at the end. You can actually, let's not make it like a down thing or sad thing. Like any experience which is challenging, it can be a positive thing to think about. To think about the future. And then the last thing I think is that, and that's what we learned through our activity, disaster is a moving target. Okay, disaster is not somewhere we look. It doesn't happen like that. We don't know where we are. You mentioned it, and I think I really share your view. We don't know when we are, where we are, when the disaster strike. So we need to know always, where is the risk when we live somewhere, when we travel somewhere. So it's always something simple, doesn't have to be complicated, but just to learn a little bit about the history. And by doing that, we actually learn more about the place where we are. So if someone goes to Indonesia, when we go to Aceh together, I hope we can go together, by learning about maybe tsunami, or you learn about other things, the beauty of the sea and the richness of the nature there and many other things. So with risk comes opportunity as well. So that's what I think I would remember.
Okay, thank you very much for these wonderful concluding remarks that also summarize very well the past few days that we spent together, and today's workshop as the highlight of, I would say, youth exchange and or maybe even like young disaster education ambassadors on both sides, so from Indonesia and Japan. Thank you very much again for your wonderful presentations and all the huge amount of work you put into this, and we could really feel the passion that you were sharing with us today. So thank you very much again, and I think we all hope that this will be a wonderful opportunity to exchange your thoughts and knowledge again in the future, not only among us, but also with other people around the world. So thank you very much.